There are moments that arrive like a film splice, a single frame that forces everyone to stop and re-edit the story they thought they already knew. May 13th, 2004. 0.4 seconds on the clock, Western Conference semifinals, Lakers down by 2 in San Antonio. Gary Payton throws an inbounds pass. The ball hits Derek Fisher's hands. He twists, he sets, he fires an 18-footer that somehow finds nothing but net. The feed goes silent for a heartbeat. Then the crowd erupts, and the replay repeats until the noise becomes the story. Everyone remembers the shot because it looks impossible. Catch, set, release, score, in less time than a blink. But what that clip hides is everything that made the moment believable. The years of invisible work, the patient craft, the locker room trust, the small choices that let a role player become the answer to a final exam. That 0.4-second basket did not make Derek Fisher great out of nowhere. It made visible a career already built of the kind of steady, unflashy competence that wins championships. He came into the league quietly. Born August 9, 1974 in Little Rock, Arkansas, Derek Lamar Fisher's path wasn't Hollywood fast. He was a Sun Belt standout at the University of Arkansas Little Rock, a first-round pick, 24th overall in the 1996 NBA draft, and a prospect with solid skills but no superstar billing. The Lakers picked him in the same draft that brought Kobe Bryant, and the pairing would end up being one of those accidents of timing that remade both players. Kobe's fire found a pragmatic foil in Fisher's composed professionalism. Fisher's numbers were never gaudy, career regular season averages that mattered for durability rather than flash. But durability is its own kind of quiet power in a league where availability often outweighs raw talent. He became the kind of teammate coaches love. Reliable, coachable, defensively willing, and surgically good in late clock situations. The 0.4-second shot is the electric headline. His championship resume is the deeper argument. Fisher won 5 NBA rings with the Lakers, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2009, 2010, and compiled more playoff minutes and series wins than nearly anyone of his generation. Those titles were not a fluke of proximity. They were a product of role specificity. He defended when asked, he shot when teammates required spacing, and he never complicated the system. Kobe called him his favorite teammate, and Phil Jackson pointed to Fisher as a locker room leader. Not because Fisher was the loudest voice, but because he executed the unromantic responsibilities that let stars flourish. That temperament is essential in dynasties. Someone must take the tough bench minutes, guard elite wings, and make the open shot in the quiet corner. Fisher did all of that for decades. To understand what happened in San Antonio, you have to read the small grammar of late clock basketball. A 0.4-second window eliminates a dribble or a complex move. It leaves only 2 legitimate options: the catch and shoot, or a premeditated catch and an immediate release with body already aligned. In practice, this means the team rehearses footwork, inbound rhythms, and the exact spatial choreography to make an almost impossibility possible. The Lakers had practiced that sequence before. Payton, the ball handler used to pressure minutes, knew how to time the throw. The rest of the team understood the spacing that would give Fisher 2 legal feet to land, pivot, and fire. But practice alone does not create the moment maker. Temperament, the willingness to be the sacrificial cog in 0.4 seconds, creates it. Fisher had built that temperament across late-season minutes, road trips, and the kind of accountability that made Kobe trust him with a final possession. The pass comes fast, but the decision is the product of a career-long ethos. His career is threaded with those small decisions that accumulate into authority. In the Lakers' 2000 to 2002 three-peat, Fisher's job was often invisible. Set hard screens, hit the corner 3 when left open, take the ball to the rim on certain swing possessions, and keep defensive assignments honest. When coaches and stars think of building legacy rosters, they often emphasize the flashy, the Shaq post drop, the Kobe isolation finish, and they underwrite the necessary with players like Fisher, who consistently executed the chores beneath the headlines. The 2004 shot sits on top of that architecture. Remove the daily practice of tiny, tedious actions, and the miracle looks more like luck than craft. Fisher's was craft patiently delivered. After he left the Lakers in free agency in 2004, Fisher proved his value outside the purple and gold context. A stop at Golden State, then Utah, then a return to the Lakers in 2007. that culminated in 2 more titles, 2009-2010. His time in Utah, in particular, showed him as more than a system piece. He could start, manage lineups, and lead a group through playoff intensity, useful for a coach looking for steady minutes and tactical flexibility. When personal life pressed, his daughter's health crisis in 2006, Fisher made decisions that prioritized family and returned to the league on terms that threaded both human need and professional duty. Those human marks matter to the narrative because they explain how a player remains consistent. It's not only physical skill, but personal intent and life decisions that stabilize a career. Players and coaches who mattered in his story give the moments meaning. Kobe Bryant's relationship with Fisher is more than supportive quotes. It was tactical trust. Kobe needed teammates who would not upstage or unravel a set play. He needed someone to run the perimeter, hit the shot if left open, and be a steady second voice when tempers flared. Phil Jackson needed a point guard who could be the glue on defensive possessions while allowing the offense to breathe. That trust enabled the Lakers to run triangle variations and late clock sets that funneled decisions toward natural scorers, while expecting Fisher to be the safety valve when touches disappeared. Opponents like the Spurs, coaches Greg Popovich, stars like Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili learned to respect Fisher not because he outplayed them nightly, but because he consistently complicated cleanup rotations. In matchups where Popovich sought to exploit mismatches, having a veteran guard who could close a game meant a coach had fewer worrying variables at the buzzer. The 0.4-second shot is often dissected as if it were a single genius act. That simplifies it into spectacle rather than technique. Watch the replay and you notice tiny truths. The inbounder's weight shift, the spin on the ball calibrated for one-handed catch, Fisher's shoulder alignment as he set his feet, the arc of the release. Low enough to beat a closeout, high enough to clear hands. Commentators afterward talked about probability and physics. Players and coaches looked at posture and rhythm. The shot's physics are only half the story. The other half is social currency. When Kobe nominated Fisher as the guy to take that shot, it revealed an internal ledger of trust. Coaches prefer to hand last possessions to a peer who will not panic. Teammates prefer a throw that will not create chaos. Fisher's long habit of being mentally available in pressure transformed a risky call into a rational one. Comparisons are inevitable and useful when placed carefully. People fasten Fisher's name to Robert Horry or Derek Fisher to Derek Fisher. And there is truth in that lineage, role players who produce iconic game-closing shots. But the comparison flattens as much as it clarifies. Horry's currency was rings and the uncanny sense of being at the exact place of history. Fisher's currency was reliability across eras, and to move from role player to starter and back without breaking team chemistry. Think of Kobe's late-game bravado and Shaq's rim physics. Fisher's role was to make that engine run smoothly. Where Wilt or Jordan changed the rules of play by physical dominance or transcendent talent, Fisher changed the rules by being the dependable end of the chain, the cog that keeps the engine from stalling at the most expensive moment. He is less about statistical revolution and more about consistent marginal advantage. That kind of advantage is what converts great rosters into dynasties. Tactically, his late-game value sits at 3 axes: spacing, timing, and decision economy. Spacing, Fisher's presence on the wing forced defenses to respect corner threes, which in turn created lanes for Kobe and Shaq to exploit. Timing, he had the habit of moving in non-linear rhythms, always offering a passing lane or a shot pocket that would be available at the end of a clock wind down. Decision economy, he rarely forced the ball into bad possessions. Instead, he converted available options into the highest expected value: an assist, a cut, or a clean look, with low turnover cost. Opponents could game plan for 1 or 2 of these elements, but plugging all 3 simultaneously is expensive in personnel and strategy. That is why coaches valued him. He made opponents pay to scheme against him. There were also moments of contradiction in Fisher's career, a leadership style that sometimes clashed with impatience, a reputation for flopping in the eyes of some critics, and fanned controversies about contracts and team decisions. None of these are unique to Fisher. Every long career aggregates awkward incidents. But they remind us that legend isn't a tidy ledger. Fisher's story includes strategic missteps and public skepticism. Yet those human imperfections are important because they make the later redemptions and the clutch moments more human and believable. Legends that are entirely clean often feel mythic and distant. Fischer's patchwork of mistakes and triumphs makes his narrative more narratable. Imperfect man, consistent performer, odd hero. After the 2004 miracle, the world's appetite for the image grew, and Fischer's identity in public consciousness tilted toward the clip. The 0.4-second miracle became shorthand for clutch. But a full, generous look at his career resists this flattening because he sustained usefulness across eras and systems, from the Shaq-Kobe domination to the later Bryant solo years when Fischer returned to help orchestrate 2 more titles. His playoff record, long minutes, many series wins, a presence on late rosters that mattered, is an argument for reliability. In an era of instant highlights and algorithmic memory, that reliability is a valuable commodity. It lets the franchise convert attention into results, and it lets players convert minutes into market valuation. Fischer traded on that currency honestly. He delivered the specialized skill set teams asked him to deliver. The cultural texture of his moments is also revealing. When a role player hits a famous shot, the internet treats it as fate. Memes are born, reaction videos multiply, and sports media create narratives that will be recycled for decades. But teams are rarely built for virality. They are built for consistent, marginal gains. Fischer's role in championship teams was about those marginal gains: attention-free drills, defensive rotations, reliable passes at the end of a shot clock. That unspectacular labor rarely trends. The 0.4-second shot does. The difference between what trends and what wins is an old sports irony. And Fischer lived in that seam, benefiting from both the virality when it hit and the steady work that made it credible. If you measure legacy by single frames, you will remember May 13, 2004 and think of impossibility. If you measure legacy by seasons, you will trace a path that includes the day-to-day, the training room, the film session, the bench pep talk, the defensive assignment taken without drama. If you measure legacy by influence on teammates, Fischer is the man who stood in the corner until someone needed him, and then, in a practiced instant, became the reason the team won. He is the player who makes champions more durable simply by existing in the right places, at the right times, with the right temperament. The honest final line is both small and large. Derek Fischer's 0.4-second shot is an image that will survive highlight reels, but the shot only became possible because Fischer had spent a career being trusted in marginal moments. In a game obsessed with stars, he became proof that championships are made by constellation, stars and satellites both necessary, and that sometimes the satellite fires the precise beam that turns a season into a legacy. Watch the replay and feel the thrill, then watch the season tapes and see the infrastructure. Both are true, and together they explain why a role player sometimes becomes a legend.